Go to page 31 in your grammar books, 31. Page 31. Talking about adjectives, you guys know about those. So this will be an easy lesson. Adjectives describe a noun or a pronoun. You already know that. An adjective tells which one, what kind, how many, or whose. Here are those questions. It does say to memorize it. So if you can memorize those questions, that will help you when you're looking for an adjective. Which one, what kind, how many, and whose. Those are the questions. An article, a, an, and the, is a special type of adjective that signals that a noun is coming. You can test if a word is an adjective by putting the word between an article and a noun. So if you look in the margin over here, it says test the blank pen. So if you use, like, what kind of a pen is it? The blue pen, the large pen, the sloppy pen, how many, well, it doesn't work in that test. The 10 pen, it doesn't really work. The boys pen, that would work, telling whose. So it's not foolproof is what I'm saying. So it's a test you can use if it helps you find an adjective, but it doesn't mean it works every single time. There you go. Look at this example. The scared mice ran. The adjective usually comes before the word it describes, but sometimes there's an extra word in there. But basically, the scared mice is telling what kind of mice. It's right here, right before the word mice. The mouse ran to his nest. His is telling whose nest it is. So even though his is also a pronoun, when it's listed like this, his nest, it now becomes an adjective. It's telling whose nest. So you're going to be labeling things now with ADJ because they're actually adjectives. These are called possessive pronouns: my, your, his, her, its, our, their. They function as adjectives, even though they're pronouns. I know that's confusing. Welcome to English. That's our language. Stuff happens like that all the time. It's a pronoun, but it functions as an adjective. The pronoun his replaces the mouse's. That's another adjective telling that it belongs to the mouse, but instead of saying that, they said his, and it functions as an adjective. Okay, so you're going to find the nouns and pronouns, and then you're going to ask the adjective questions, which are these: which one, what kind, how many, and whose. And then you find the adjective and label it with ADJ. Look at the example here. Two scared mice jumped from the first basket and ran under the cook's nose. Their hearts raced with fear. Two scared mice is telling which mouse was it, the scared mouse or mice, and then how many, two. Those are two adjectives in the row. That happens sometimes. And then which basket is it? The first basket. And then which nose or whose nose is it? It's the cook's nose. And whose hearts is it? It's their hearts. See how you ask those questions, and that's how you find those adjectives. There's also something called a quality adjective. We talked about that last year in class. That is a dress up. It's not on our checklist yet, but it's coming. It's coming soon to a theater near you. Quality adjectives. So those are going to be adding an image to whatever you're saying. So for when the reader reads it, it gives them a visual in their head. I always like to use the example of a rainbow. And you could say the pretty rainbow. That would be nice. Hold on, Easton. Or you could say the colorful rainbow. That gives you more of an image. So colorful would be considered a quality adjective. Okay. Go ahead, Easton. Did you want to say something real quick?
Remember those things we used to do, the where there would be like a picture, then we would just write it out. Um,
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. We will do that. Not yet, but it's coming. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, those are kind of fun. Go to the back of that page, page 32. Homophones. Remember, homo means same. Phone means sound. Homophone means same sound. Okay, it's a word that sounds like another word, but is spelled differently and has a different meaning. So here's the homophones, two, two, and two. They all sound the same when you say it, two, two, two. But look how they're spelled differently and they have different meanings. To is a preposition or part of an infinitive. Going to town, that's a preposition. To hide, because hide is a verb, to hide makes it an infinitive. TWO is a number two mice. TOO is an adverb meaning also or to an excessive degree. So he had it too, meaning also, or the trip to the beach was too long, meaning excessive, meaning a long time, right? Too long. Place a line through the incorrect homophone and write the correct word above it. That's what you're going to do in this book. They're going to make mistakes on purpose. You have to find them. If the correct homophone is an adjective, write ADJ above the correct word. If it is a preposition, underline the prepositional phrase. Here's your example right here. The two mice lived too far from each other to meet. Two, two, two. And they messed up on it on purpose here. So you got to draw a line through it and put it the correct way above it. The number two is an adjective, is telling how many. TOO is excessive, like it's too far away, too far from each other. And then TO, this is a preposition. Actually, it's an infinitive because meet is a verb, so to meet. They did not travel to town together. That's a prepositional phrase. Tyler, do you have a question?
The hardest homophones are definitely the witches.
Oh, yeah. WHICH and then
Yeah.
WITCH, those two. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, there's some hard ones in there. Like
That's like
your and your is kind of tricky.
it's like the easiest one to fail on a spelling test if they don't say it in a sentence.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You have to have it in a sentence. Otherwise, how are you supposed to know
Yeah.
what it is? Yeah, I agree with that. Comma. There's a comma rule here. Is used to separate items in a sentence. In week 5, you learn 2 comma rules, which coordinate with coordinating conjunctions. If you have 2 things that you're listing, A and B, you don't need a comma. But if you have A, B, and C, A, comma, B, comma, and C, you need commas. So this week you will correct errors with A and B. So it's already telling you you don't need a comma if there's just 2. So look at this example here. The cook saw Timmy and screamed. He saw and screamed. Only 2 things he did. So no comma for that. And then, of course, an exclamation mark there because you got to say it with emotion, like the cook saw Timmy and screamed. Any questions? All right, then. Who would like to read the sentence today? Any volunteers? Okay, Easton, thank you for that.
Inside the large house, Sarah the maid noisily
Yeah.
raced up the stairs and down the stairs too.
Okay. Good. That was good reasoning. Reasoning. Whoa. That was good reading, is what I meant to say.
And down the stairs to where? The store, the kitchen.
Yeah, should
I
we
think
fix
I
that?
found our homophone.
I think so too. That's bugging me. What should it be, Easton? What should that be right here? Not TO.
TOO.
There you go. And that means like also raced up the stairs and down the stairs too. So he went up and down also. All right. And the vocabulary is noisily. That's pretty obvious, in a noisy way, in a loud way. She's like screaming, probably like, ah. Articles, find those by yourself and label those. Four of them. Nouns. How about Christopher? Where are the nouns at?
House,
Good.
stairs,
Stairs, good.
maid,
Good. Two more.
the other stairs,
The other stairs.
there,
Sarah. Good. There's only one adjective, Liana. Do you see the adjective?
um,
Look at the word house and then see if you can figure out like,
The large house?
yes, which one is the large house? Very good. Coordinating conjunction, Tyler. And that's the fanboys word. Prepositional phrase, do you see it, Christopher? I'll go, or no, it's Easton's turn. Sorry, Easton.
What do I do?
Prepositional phrase, there's three of them actually, prepositional phrases.
Inside the large house.
Good, yes. Inside the large house is one.
Noisily raced up the stairs.
Well, noisily is an adverb, and then raced is a verb. Remember, prepositional phrases don't have verbs, but you're close. It starts with up.
Up the stairs.
Up the stairs is one. There's one more.
And down the stairs.
And down the stairs. There you go. You got it. Good. Verbs, Christopher.
raced,
Raced is one. Yep. Actually, I think that's it. That is it. Because noisily is an adverb, so we're not going to count that one, but raced is the verb. So, Christopher, who is it that raced? Who's the subject here?
the maid,
Before that, though,
Sarah,
there you go, because it's Sarah. The maid is just telling a little bit more about Sarah, but Sarah is the one that raced up the stairs and down the stairs. Two capitals, that's pretty easy. N and Sarah. End mark, period. And we already fixed the homophone, which was two. Awesome. That wasn't so bad. Any questions about that? No? Okay. Go ahead and put away your grammar book then and get out your binders. And let's see, you guys wrote about the emperor and the soup. Anybody want to read what they wrote? You can share it if you want. You don't have to, but I just want to give you an opportunity if anybody feels like reading it. The
Just so
emperor.
you know, I always find those space for that funny sentence.
Good. Do you want to read yours?
Sure. Anybody
Okay.
else want to? I'll read less if
Does anybody else want to read? Do you want to read yours, Easton?
I mean, it's in my my
Oh,
living
Google
room, but
Classroom.
yeah.
Did you type it?
Yeah, I typed it.
I could pull it up on the screen if you want to read it. He's like, no, okay. Next time though, print it. And then if you want to read it, you can read it, when it's printed. It's up to you. I understand some stories I'm like super proud of and I want to read. And then other stories I'm like, I'm good. So I get it. There will be a story eventually where you guys want to read it. Do you want to read yours, Christopher? No. And Liana, no?
I feel like they'll I feel like we'll all start reading them once we get to that creative writing again.
Yes. Oh yeah. I think that's what Easton was talking about earlier too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead. You can read yours though.
I named mine Woodcutter and Wife Get Gold.
Oh,
I
cool.
could not find anything else.
That's
One
good.
day, an An emperor was hunting in the forest and he was in a storm. The emperor was separated from his buddies, got lost, and started wandering around to try and find them. He found a small house that had a garden and a hen house. A woodcutter and his wife opened the door and were very welcoming. The woodcutter and his wife sang songs, told stories, and laughed with the emperor who had showed up at their house after mysteriously wandering. I
Mm.
feel like I use the woodcutter and the wife too much, but
So far, it sounds okay.
well, it's not going to sound okay in a second. The woodcutter and his wife made soup and gave some to the emperor, and he devoured it. He liked the soup so much, he told them that it was the best soup he had ever had and politely asked for the recipe. Once he got home, he had his cooks made the soup. After his cooks brought him the food, he tasted it. He noticed something was missing. He walked back to the woodcutter and his wife, who gave him the recipe to ask questions. The woodcutter and his wife made the soup for the woodcutter and his wife who made the soup for the emperor told him that when he got there he was utterly exhausted. They also told him that he devoured soup and relaxed. I mean, they also told him that after he devoured soup, he relaxed, sang songs, and told stories. They exclaimed to him that he was prepared for the soup. He then thanked the woodcutter and his wife for everything they had done for him. As a thank you, the emperor gave the woodcutter and his wife gold.
Nice. Very good. I like it. Let's give him a clap in the camera, you guys. Good job, Tyler.
I'll
I like
really,
it.
I'll really start liking it at the creative writing.
Yes, yes, I agree. And I was really listening for a banned word because I thought for sure you would accidentally use eat or
I
something.
did. You
Eat.
thought, you thought, you thought.
I
I
thought
checked
you did it.
multiple times.
I know
I
you
checked like
did.
5 times.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna catch him. He's gonna miss one. But actually, eat eight is not on there yet. So you were okay, but I loved how you used devoured and all that stuff instead.
I know think and thought will be on there eventually, so
That's coming actually right now is coming. So get out everything from your front pocket, and the blue paper is what I want you to get out first from your front pocket. That's
I
funny.
can
You should mention that.
I can predict the future.
You can predict the future because we already have say, said, seesaw, go, went, and over here on the end, we're going to put think, thought. And you called it. That's the one. Should be in your front pocket because we were working on this last week. All right, let's think of some stuff. What can we put instead of think and thought? Go ahead and unmute and say it.
Pondered.
Pondered. I like it. Wondered. That would work too. Liana, can you think of one? Like, what's something that happens inside your head? Because usually when we think, it's quiet, it's happening inside. So, what are some things that you do inside your head? And she's doing it right now. She's thinking,
Stuttering.
say it again.
Stuttering.
That would be with your voice, though. That would be more for like say, said. Christopher, did you have one?
Imagined.
Oh, yes. There we go. Imagined.
Picture.
Oh, yeah. Like pictured in your head. Yeah, that would work.
Meditate.
Yeah. Meditate. I'm going to make it all past tense because that's usually how we write. Meditated. I like that one. Uh, we could even say like remembered. That happens inside our head.
Recalled.
That would be, let's see, would that work? Recalled? Yeah, I think that actually would work. I had to think about that for a second because I didn't know if that was like something you say, recalled.
He
But you're right.
recalled a memory.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That'll work. Recalled. That's a good one. Believed is one. Even a simple one like new, like KNEW, that's another one. That's a good start. I'm out of room, so but if you have more room, you can always add to this. And don't forget there's a lot more than this online. So if you wanted to look it up, check with your parents and look up what another word. But now from now on, you cannot use think or thought in your writing. It's okay to use it in your outlines, your keyword outlines and stuff, or even when we're talking, obviously we can use it. But I'm talking about when you're writing, stay away from that one.
I'm
Okay.
gonna start saying not saying band. Wait, I already said it.
I know, it's hard. It's really hard.
I try to do it, but I can't.
The blue page is gonna go behind the tab that says banned words. It's toward the back. So go back toward the back of your binder. It says banned words right there. Put it behind that tab. After you put the blue page away, I want you to turn to the stylistic techniques page. Make sure you close your rings in between all this because otherwise it'll all come out. Remember this one here that after you put the blue one behind banned words, go to stylistic techniques because we're going to add a dress up. Yay, we're adding a dress up. Woohoo! I know you're excited. Just stay calm, okay? Just try to stay calm.
I'm trying to think about what we could possibly be adding.
Well, you should have ly adverb already. You should have who, which. You should have strong verb. You guys have those, right? Okay. We are adding because clause number 4. It's actually a pretty easy one. So, oops, if I can spell it right. Because clause. That's easy. That's when you have a reason why something is the way it is in your story.
A because clause is like the easiest one because you can always like use it in daily talking.
That's true. The thing you probably need to remember right now, you don't want to use because at the beginning of the sentence. So you'll explain something, yeah, or after you say it. So
Because once upon a time, it does not go well.
that doesn't go well. But the boy was tired because he ran around the block 10 times. You're telling why something is the way it is. It's pretty easy. So then don't take that yellow page out. Just leave it in there. I just wanted you to add because now you can put the rest of the story that you just did. I'm drawing a blank on what story you guys wrote about. Oh, the Emperor in the Soup. Yeah, put away the Emperor in the Soup. If you have a separate binder, go ahead and put it away in the separate binder so that this binder doesn't get too crazy full. And then go to the source text tab here at the beginning. And you're going to get out week 6, which is this one, the city mouse and the country mouse.
I feel like it's a different title, but I feel like it's gonna talk about food in the paragraph.
And look at the next one, looking ahead at week 7, eating together. I never realized that, Tyler. You are the only student that's ever pointed that out to me, that everything we talk about has to do with food. And we always have our class like right before lunchtime. I needed to think that through a little bit better. Week 6. That's funny. I never realized that. Let's look at the pink page first. Go there. Just look at this with me. This is one of those handy dandy lists. I love these because I don't have these in my brain all the time. I mean, I know these words, but it really helps to have a list, especially when you get to that point of your homework and you've got your paragraphs done and all you're doing is finding places for dress ups and you're like, man, I need an ly adverb. Well, here you go. And then there's lots of lines here for you to add your own that you like. So I just want to show this to you. I want you to use it. It will help you. I even like to tape this up on the wall sometimes where I'm doing my work. I can tape up these lists, and you can too by where you do your homework on
What
the
are
wall.
what are the LY imposters again?
Yeah,
I
let's look
forgot
at
what
that.
those are.
Good question. So these all have ly. Remember that word imposters means it's when somebody's pretending to be somebody else. Like I don't know if you've ever been to Hollywood before or in sometimes even at Las Vegas, they have people dressed up like Jack Sparrow, but it's not the real Jack Sparrow. It's not the real Johnny Depp, but it's somebody who's looking like them, or even Star Wars characters and stuff. So an imposter it looks like it could be an ly adverb because it has ly, but they're not. They're adjectives. So like chilly is describing what kind of day it is outside. Is a chilly day. That's not chili that you eat. That would be spelled with another I at the end. That's the kind of chili you eat. This is like cold chili. Friendly, describing a person. So that's an adjective. Ghastly. That's when you're like, when you're, I guess that's a gasp. Ghastly. I think that's like ugly, isn't it? Anyway, I'm trying to remember what ghastly is. Ghostly, describing a person, like if a person is really pale, like maybe they're sick, they look ghostly. Holy, kingly, knightly, lonely, lovely, orderly, prickly, queenly, surely, ugly, worldly, wrinkly. Those are all ly, but they are not adverbs, they are adjectives. So that's what that means. Just to give you, just to warn you, don't underline this as an adverb because they're not. These are. All right, get out a lined piece of paper too. I forgot to have you get that. You need to have a lined piece of paper. And we're going to just start by setting up your story sequence chart for this, and then we'll read the story. So with your lined paper, you know what to do. Put your name and date here. This one's, go ahead and skip a line. This one's called, it's a big title, so I'm moving over here. The City Mouse. Notice and the are not capitalized, but Country Mouse is. So the rule is always the first letter of a title is capitalized, and then beyond that is usually just the keywords. That's the easy way to remember it. Keywords. I see you guys in the chat. I missed all that. That's funny. You guys are funny. All right. And then we're calling this SSC, story sequence chart. It's going to be a basic one. So I'm going to go ahead and just set it up. I'm going to do it kind of quick. You just do what you do. Okay. So skip a line. I'm going to do a line kind of a little bit more toward the left side, so I have more room on the right. Roman numeral 1, and then 1, 2, 3. Make sure you line them up, okay? Skip a line, Roman numeral 2, 1, 2, 3. Skip a line, Roman numeral 3. And then you guys remember, draw the line across right on top of the Roman numeral. I'm just going to do it quick. You guys work on yours. Who remembers what goes in this first box? What do we talk about first? Tyler.
Character / setting.
Very good. character/setting. And Tyler, do you remember the questions we ask?
Who, where, when?
Yes, good. Somebody other than Tyler, what goes in the middle box? Who remembers that part? What do we talk about next? Easton.
So like a problem.
Yes, good. That first word is conflict, but then the second word is problem. You're right. Do you remember the question word we asked there? Easton, you remember what question we asked?
Or that like what do they need? Like
Good. What is really all we need to put there is what. But you're right. You're asking what do they need? What do they want? What are they thinking? What are they saying? What are they doing? They're all what questions. Okay. And the last one is either for Christopher or Liana. What goes in the last box? Do you remember? After the conflict and the problem. Well, are we just going to leave everybody with the problem hanging? We don't want to end a story on
climax?
a problem. Climax, that's one word, yes. What was the other word?
Resolution.
There you go. Good teamwork. And who remembers what question we ask at the end? We already have who, where, when, and what. What do we put here for our question word? Christopher? Oh, I thought you had your hand up. It's how. Like, how is the problem solved? That was pretty good. You guys remembered that. I always talk about Kung Fu Panda. That helps. It's a great way to explain this.
Great movie. Haven't seen it.
I know, and I'm always talking about it. You should see it. Have you not seen it because you're just not interested in it, or you just...
Actually, it sounds fun, but I have not seen it.
Oh, okay. That's all right. There's lots of movies I haven't seen, and I have a confession to make about Harry Potter. I don't know if any of you are Harry Potter fans.
Don't make it a bad confession now.
My confession is I've never read the books, and I've only seen about 10 minutes of one movie of Harry Potter.
Only 10 minutes?
Only about 10 minutes. I was like,
What?
I've never seen it either.
okay, thank you, Christopher.
What?
I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm just not interested in it. It never got my interest. So
Has anybody else seen the movies? Read the books? Okay, at
Easton?
least somebody has. It's pretty even now.
What are we talking about?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter? No, I don't. I haven't watched that.
Ah,
Me neither.
Tyler's upset. Look at him. He can't even look at us right now. How about you, Liana? Have you
I
seen...
have I've read most of the books and I've seen I think all of the movies.
So you're alone in here, Tyler. You are alone. I'm so sorry. None of us, not Christopher, not Easton, not Liana.
Even the
me.
earthquakes hate Harry Potter because there was a like in 2018 we had a Harry Potter day at my old school in Alaska and then there was like a big earthquake right as the day started.
Like really in real life, there was an earthquake?
Yes, 7.1.
Whoa.
So
Oh my gosh. Wow.
we didn't go to school for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of damage and stuff. Man, that's crazy. I did not know that.
Also, week 16, I didn't even mean this to happen, but as I was going to week 6 or whatever, I found out that week 16 was still talking about food. So I think we'll be talking about this for a while.
All right. We might as well just get used to it, right? You crack me up. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Okay, the city mouse and the country mouse. Tyler is predicting we're going to talk about food somewhere in this story. I have a feeling we will too, but okay. So I'm going to read it. You guys follow along. Think about the parts of the story sequence chart, the characters in the setting, the problem, right? The conflict and the problem, and then the climax and the resolution. Think about those parts of the story. A city mouse once visited a cousin who lived in the country. For lunch, here we go. It didn't take long. The country mouse served wheat stalks, roots, and acorns with a dash of cold water for drink. The city mouse nibbled a little of this and a little of that by her manner, meaning she was just being polite, making it very plain that she ate the simple food only to be polite. There you go. After the meal, the city mouse chatted about her life in the city with its luxuries and delicacies. They then went to bed in a cozy nest in the hedge, it's like the bushes, and slept comfortably until morning. In her dreams, the country mouse enjoyed all the delights of city life that her cousin had described. So the next day, when the city mouse asked the country mouse to go home with her to the city, she gladly agreed and packed her things. After they reached the mansion in which the city mouse lived, they found on the dining room table the leavings of a fine banquet. There were meats and jellies, pastries, and delicious cheeses. Tyler, I know. But just as the country mouse was about to taste a morsel of cheddar, a cat meowed loudly. Okay, so that word right there doesn't have the O. It's just another way of spelling meowed, but it's meowed because it looks like mood. And then you might think, what are we talking about? A cow? No, it's a cat. The cat meowed. Okay. In great fear, the two mice scurried to a hiding place where they lay quite still for a long time, hardly daring to breathe. When at last they ventured back to the feast, the door opened suddenly, and in came the servants to clear the table, followed by the house dog. The country mouse stepped into the city mouse's hole to pick up her bag and umbrella. You might have luxuries and dainties that I have not, she said as she hurried away. But I prefer my plain food and simple country life with the peace and security that go with them.
Okay, so this is a fantasy.
Yes, obviously it's a fantasy. Yeah, very good. Well, first of all, we know that mice don't talk. They don't speak English to each other. So that's your first clue. But yeah. And this is a story that has a lot of different versions to it. But basically, they like their own lives. And when they try to live at each other's different places, it's like they can't handle it, right? So they just want to have their own life that they're used to. So that's what we can learn from it, is like, just be thankful for the life you have and the home you have and the things that you have. And it's always fun to visit other places. I mean, we do that. We go on vacation, we visit places, but it's always nice to come back to your own home. All right. So let's start building the story sequence chart here. So I'll start with Easton. Obviously, there's two main characters. Who are the two main characters in the story?
The mouse that lives in the country and the mouse that lives in the city.
Very good. Okay, so right here, I think we should start off by introducing them because we need to do that here in the first paragraph. So I'm going to use the number 2, so I don't have to count that. And then plural for mice for mouse is mice. And then I'm going to put country, comma, city. And if you guys think of something different for your own, you don't have to copy mine exact. I just say that. Okay. You can make it your own, but remember the story sequence chart is kind of getting away from all the sentences. We're looking at more of these chunks of information here. So characters and setting. And then Liana, do you remember how these mice are related? Are they friends? Are they neighbors? How do they know each other?
Um,
It's in that very first sentence. If you look back at the first sentence, it's there. Right here. A
I
city
give
mouse
her a hint.
once visited a, there we go. They're cousins. That's okay. Tyler, thank you for wanting to give her a hint. So they're cousins. And I think what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to circle CI for city and CO for country, because if I just circle the C's, we'll get confused, right? So we need to have another letter in there. So CI for city and CO for country. So basically the city mouse visited the country mouse first, right? So I'm going to put the city mouse, CI, visited CO. In the country, right? I guess we could add that here. Christopher, what did the country mouse serve as a lunch? What did they eat? The country mouse and the city mouse.
Wheat stalks, roots, and acorns.
Okay. So we could put maybe WH for wheat stalks, roots, acorns. Or you could draw an acorn and use the word wheat, or draw a wheat. However you want to do that. So you remember. And then Easton, did the country or the city mouse like it? Did she like the stalks and the roots and acorns?
no.
No.
Hmm.
It's funny how it says, she was just trying to be polite. She was probably like, oh, this is disgusting. Because she's used to other types of food, right? She's used to meat and cheese and pastries, probably like donuts. And I know I'm talking about food again, but here we are. So she was being polite. It was simple and interesting. So the city mouse, I'm going to put CI, polite. She was being polite and eating it, right? Oh, we could put, I just had an idea. We could put politely and then like like a Pac-Man guy. Then you got your ly adverb, boom, right there. Politely eating it. And she thought it was simple. And I think the other word was interesting. Oh, no, interesting isn't in the story, but you could use interesting or boring or um, not good, or however you want to describe it, however you think she thinks about it.
Gross.
Gross. I'll put gross. But she was trying to eat it as best she could. And then Tyler, so they went to bed and then she had a dream. And then what was the next thing they did after the dream? Then what happened?
They chatted about their life. I mean, the city mouse chatted about her life in the city with the luxuries and delicacies.
Mm-hmm. But then they chatted about that. Then they went to bed. And then they woke up the next day.
Then The city mouse asked the country mouse to go home with her to the city. She gladly agreed and packed her things.
So City Mouse invited Country Mouse to the city. City, I think I'll put home here. To her home in the city. And then, Liana, what kind of food did they have there at the mansion? Actually, it was more of a mansion, huh? Maybe we should put that instead of home. I'm going to change that. Mansion. What did they have to eat there, Liana? At the bottom of page 55 talks about what they ate there.
Okay.
You see it?
Cold water for a drink?
No,
No.
I'm looking at the very bottom of 55.
Pastries and cheese?
Yes. So basically meats, jellies, pastries, and cheeses. So you can pick 3 of those. Whichever 3 you want to put in your outline here. I'm going to put meats, pastries, cheeses. But if you want to draw any of those so that you can have all 4 things listed, that's fine too. However you want to put it on your outline there. Okay. But then we have another character coming on the scene. And this is when the problem really starts happening, right? So Christopher, who comes on the scene? What's the problem now?
It was a cat.
Yes. And what did the mice do when they saw the cat? That's for Christopher. What did the mice do when they saw the cat? It's on page 56 at the top.
Meowed loudly.
The cat meowed loudly, but what did the mice do?
Worried and hid.
Yeah, I'm using past tense, but you're right. So the mice scurried and hid, not the cat. Cat came in, you'll remember that. The mice scurried and hid. Now that's their problem. They're thinking they might die because obviously cats eat mice. They eat them. And then after the mice came in, they hid and they're holding their breath. And then there was another character that came in. So Easton, who's the last character or animal that came in after the cat? Well, the servants came in. I forgot about those guys. The servants came in, and then what was the other animal that came in after the servants?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
The opposite of the cat.
The opposite of the cat.
Mouse. I mean, I don't know
No,
what
right
opposite
here.
of cat is.
When at last they ventured back to their feast, the door opened suddenly, and in came the servants to clear the table, followed by the house
Dog.
dog. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just going to put house dog. When the servants came back, and then comes the dog. Okay, this is the climax. This is the climax. Now we have a cat and a dog and 2 mice. This is the point of the story where you're like, there is no way those mice are going to survive. And it's possible that the cat may not even survive because now we have a dog on the scene, and the dog will eat both the cat and the mice, right? If it's a bad dog or a mean dog. So it's the food chain. So here we go. This is the climax. Did they get to eat any food? Give me a thumbs up if they ate food. Give me a thumbs down if they did not. They actually did not. They were going to, but they didn't because these other animals came in. And so they did not get to have any food. She just packed up her bag and left. So I'm going to put like no food. They didn't eat any food. And they were scared. And that's when the country mouse said, you know what? I'm heading home. She picked up her bag and umbrella. So I'm going to put the country mouse, CO, bag, umbrella, and then arrow home. She's like, thank you. I'm heading home. I'm done. And as she's leaving, she's saying, you may have luxuries and dainties that I have not, but I prefer plain food. So I'm going to put in quotes here, prefer plain food.
How
Because
was she able to carry a umbrella?
they don't have any thumbs, opposable thumbs. You're right. I'm going to put safe, secure, and happy here. I'm wrapping it up kind of quick, but that's all right. So I've got, there was no food. They were scared. They didn't get to eat any food. They were scared. And then that's when she packed up her bag and got her umbrella and went home. And she said, I prefer my plain food. And she prefers her own home where she's safe, secure, and happy. That's the gist of it. Okay, so we got the characters in the setting in the beginning. Even though some of the characters come in later, these are the main characters throughout. Then the problem was part of the characters, right? The cat and the dog. That was the problem. They were going to die. And that is a problem. And then here they begin to solve that problem and move into the climax and the resolution and how it's been solved. And then the lesson we learn here is that we want to be safe and secure and happy in our own homes. All right, let's take a look really quick at the checklist. Everything up here is pretty much what you're used to, but then our dress ups, we have more here. We've got 4 of them. We just added that because clause. So one of these in each paragraph. And then we've got your banned words. They're listed here. So I know that, especially Tyler, I know you checked for yours, but everybody needs, if you're typing these out, you need to check to make sure you didn't use a banned word, and you can search for the word in your document. We did that last year. So make sure you don't use any of these banned words. It's going to be kind of hard because there's a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue going on between the characters. So you don't want to say said or see saw when they see the cat. They witnessed the cat. They observed. They spotted the cat. They spied the cat. They watched the cat.
They looked at the cat.
They looked at the cat. That would work too. And then they thought. They wondered if they were going to die, wondered if they were going to be eaten. I don't know. You can use different words there for that. So you're going to write your 3 paragraphs using your story sequence chart and your checklist. You have 4 words to underline now in each paragraph. Do you guys have any questions about your homework? No? All right, good job today. 3 paragraphs and your grammar, and you're all set. I will see you next week. Bye, you guys.